Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're watching a Crypto Hamster channel. It was a long break for me posting a video. I was doing a lot of different things, preparing some content and digging into crypto space deeper, so thank you very much for staying with me all that time. There is a lot of things happened, but I must say that the general sentiment remains the same as before. We're in a bear market and more people are losing hope for that to be turned into a positive side. Moreover, a lot of us already believe that Bitcoin price will drop lower than 6,000 and we will see 4K, 3K, even $1,000 per Bitcoin. The situation is getting escalated from the fact that nearly all of the altcoins are showing huge drops. It seems like it will never stop, and those people who were patiently waiting for technically attractive levels for buying crypto and finally bought some now feel that they made a huge mistake. So today, in such a negative environment, I would like to give you a word of optimism, as I always try to do, since it's very easy to be bullish when everything is mooning, but when we see the blood in the streets, it's rather hard to stay positive. So today, I would like to make a short recap of what happened during the last 6 months and give some credit to people appreciating technical analysis over the fundamental one, while I believe that there is a place for a proper mixture of both. Still, sometimes it's nice to see the situation from a single angle. What I would like to do is to see the Bitcoin price action with respect to a previous situation evolving in 2014. There is a plenty of analysts mentioning that, but in my opinion, most of them are either too uncertain or too aggressive in their statements. So I would like to express my relatively calm sentiment and also add 2 satoshis to a picture. Here I saved 2 charts from 2014 at the top and 2018 at the bottom. What I would like to do is to highlight the price peaks and dips that happened after the huge rise that were both in the end of 2013 and in the end of 2017. Generally, it is well known that every parabolic price rise should eventually charge off in a correction, and the stronger the rise, the longer and deeper the correction is. But from the psychological standpoint, people do not want to accept that and hope that the asset that was performing so great before must continue to do so very soon. In reality, it is not the case. So that is exactly what we saw with Bitcoin. The interesting thing is that here we can see almost a perfect repetition of the price action for these 2 years, with only one difference, that the time scale is shorter in 2018. And even this is reasonable since the market is much more mature these days and it is essential for the processes to evolve faster. So what we see here is that after the huge parabolic rise of the price, there were 4 major dips in 2014, and each of them preceded the upwards correction of that dip. So then each following correction top was lower, and each following dip was also slightly declined, was slightly lower in a relative value with respect to a preceding dip. So the bottom line of the rise was a little bit lowered as well, like declining, but was almost perfectly holding the support, which was both technically and fundamentally approved. It is also nicely explained from the standpoint of psychological behavior of market participants, as the major rise was corrected. For the first time, some optimistic, more aggressive and risky buyers stepped in, and that led to a first rise after the dip. But in general, in such a process, the number of sellers is always higher than the number of buyers, until the equilibration point of the losses being compensated to acceptance level will not be reached. And often after such a strong rise and fall, the initial bottom is the true one. This is exactly what happened with Bitcoin in 2014. So with every new upward movement, additional portion of initial buyers recharged their bags, fixing losses or sometimes even profits, and eventually in May 2015, the majority of the old active participants were out of position. Then the market stayed in the stagnation stage for more than a year with a slight rising trend. That was the new money coming in, and all players got more confidence in the market, got settled down. In fact, it took almost 3 years in total to make this to happen. People forget the pain and enough of newcomers appear. So in principle, a long correction is required for a new positive trend to appear. This is pretty much the same that would happen in 2018. You can see the same peaks and dips, pretty much similar periodicity and density, despite the news background and fundamental picture. TA maximalist would even be able to see the similarity of the lower low at the third dip in both cases, although it is not yet confirmed in 2018. So we're approaching that. Concluding, in a great scheme of things, Bitcoin is a perfect correction cycle, and we may see three major scenarios here. First, price could go lower and the market will enter the strong depression time. I personally wouldn't estimate the chance for that as of 5 to 10% maybe. Second, it may be a stagnation period of about a year from now, rather likely in my opinion, maybe 30–40%. And third, a new uptrend will be established within a few months. It is likely up to 40–50%. From that point, I would like to encourage you to hold to your initial plans if you had any. Like if you bought some crypto and now you lost up to even 90% of that, do not sell now, even if Bitcoin will go even lower. Better buy more and average your losses. Because what is the point of keeping those 10 or 20% of initial investment? It is nothing comparing to the whole amount. So why shall you lose so much? Especially returning to a technical analysis, the risk to reward ratio of such a deal is not in your favor at all. So there is a much higher chance the price will go up from that levels than vice versa. Now I have to say that none of this is financial advice and you must take your decision on your own. That's probably it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider to subscribe if you like the content, and I see you soon in the next videos. Bye.